Welcome to the channel. If you're in your 30s with no 401k, debt, and living paycheck to paycheck, take a breath. First, we will reframe the problem. Then, we will map a step-by-step plan you can actually execute. Finally, we will show tax-advantaged alternatives and what to do once those are maxed. Let's start by setting expectations and moving from panic to a practical plan. Here is our agenda. First, we will identify the real crisis. Next, we will cover a 30-day triage to create a surplus. After that, we will explore tax-advantaged alternatives like IRAs, spousal IRAs, and HSAs. Then, we will move into the unrestricted zone using a taxable brokerage. Following that, we will confront the hard-timing truth about adding children. Finally, we will consolidate with tools, diagrams, and an action plan, and along the way you will take a couple of short quizzes to check your understanding. Before we begin, this video is educational and informational only. It is not financial, tax, or legal advice. Your situation is unique, and you should consult a licensed professional who can review your specific circumstances. We will discuss general principles and frameworks you can adapt. First, reframe the problem. The absence of a 401k is not your primary obstacle. The real crisis is a lack of liquidity combined with high-interest debt and an inability to consistently save. Therefore, your first objective is to create a surplus. Build a small starter buffer to avoid sliding back into debt. Then prioritize paying off high-interest debt, especially anything above roughly 20% APR. This payoff is effectively a guaranteed, risk-free return, which usually beats early market returns adjusted for risk. Finally, you need a clear budget that forces a margin between income and expenses so that investing later actually sticks. Next, implement a 30-day triage. First, freeze discretionary spending by pausing subscriptions and eliminating dining out and impulse purchases for 30 days. Second, call providers and negotiate bills, such as insurance, phone, and internet. Third, consider refinancing or balance transfers if and only if it lowers total cost and you have a clear payoff plan. Fourth, boost income temporarily with overtime, weekend gigs, selling unused items, or small freelance tasks. Fifth, pick a debt payoff strategy, avalanche to minimize interest, or snowball to maximize motivation. Sixth, build a $1,000 starter buffer so emergencies do not push you back into debt. Finally, automate payments and savings so progress does not rely solely on willpower. Quiz time. The question is, with no 401k and high-interest credit card debt, what should you prioritize first? Option A, open a taxable brokerage and start buying index funds. Option B, open an IRA and invest the full amount immediately. Option C, pay off the high-interest debt and create a small cash buffer. Option D, ignore debt and wait for a higher-paying job. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is paying off high-interest debt and creating a small cash buffer. This approach provides a guaranteed return by removing expensive interest and stabilizes your cash flow so you can invest consistently later. Now that debt is controlled and you can save consistently, move to tax-advantaged alternatives. First, open an IRA, traditional or Roth, depending on your tax bracket and future expectations. Make sure you verify current IRS contribution limits and eligibility rules for your filing status. Second, if there is one household earner and one non-earning or low-earning spouse, consider a spousal IRA to effectively double your tax advantage capacity. Third, if you have a high-deductible health plan, use a health savings account to access the triple tax advantage, tax-deductible contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawals for qualified medical costs. This account can also function as a supplemental retirement vehicle when used strategically. Here's a quick comparison. Traditional IRAs typically allow deductible contributions and tax-deferred growth, with withdrawals taxed as ordinary income. Roth-IRAs use after-tax dollars, grow tax-free, and qualified withdrawals are tax-free, while contributions can be withdrawn at any time without tax or penalty. HSAs allow deductible contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawals for qualified medical expenses. After age 65, non-medical withdrawals are taxed similarly to a traditional IRA, making the HSA a flexible supplemental retirement account. This pie chart illustrates a sample allocation once you are out of immediate crisis. The idea is to continue prioritizing emergency fund growth and remaining debt payoff while simultaneously beginning retirement contributions and HSA funding. Short-term sinking funds help prevent future debt by pre-saving for predictable expenses, and living costs are right-sized to preserve positive cash flow. After you have used available tax shelters, move to a taxable brokerage. This account has no formal limits, so you can invest as much as your surplus allows. Use low-cost broad market index funds or ETFs to maintain diversification at minimal cost. Be intentional with tax efficiency by favoring broad ETFs, minimizing turnover, holding long-term for favorable capital gains treatment, and placing tax-inefficient holdings in your IRA when possible. This timeline shows how to ramp over a year. Months 1 and 2 focus on triage and building a small buffer. Months 3 to 5 target high-interest debt aggressively. Month 6 is for opening IRA and HSA accounts. Months 7 to 9 are about automating contributions and finishing the emergency fund to about 3 months of expenses. Months 10 to 12 focus on increasing investments, starting a taxable brokerage if appropriate, and reviewing your asset allocation for rebalancing. Let's compare having no 401k with using a taxable brokerage. Without a 401k, you miss automatic payroll deductions and potential employer match, but it is not a dead end. You will rely more on IRAs, HSAs, and taxable accounts and must be disciplined about contributions. By contrast, a brokerage account allows unlimited contributions and flexibility in investment choices, but gains are taxable. You can mitigate taxes through low turnover index funds and long-term holding periods. Here is the second quiz. The question is, what is the HSA's triple tax advantage? Option A, taxed now, taxed later, taxed again. Option B, tax-deductible contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawals for qualified medical expenses. Option C, tax-free contributions, taxed growth, tax-free withdrawals. Option D, no taxes at all in any circumstance. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will review the answer in the next section. The correct answer is that HSAs allow tax-deductible contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawals for qualified medical expenses. This combination makes the HSA uniquely powerful when you can invest the balance and use it strategically. Now, a direct but compassionate truth about timing. Adding a child while you are still in debt and without savings substantially resets your financial timeline. Children are expensive, and costs can delay meaningful saving by many years. Therefore, plan proactively and prioritize maximum saving now. Do not delay getting started. Even small, consistent progress compounds and changes the trajectory over time. This flowchart depicts the hierarchy of financial stability. The base layer stops the bleeding by cutting discretionary spending and negotiating bills. Above that is building a $1,000 buffer to prevent relapse into debt. The third layer is paying off high-interest debt. The fourth is expanding the emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of expenses. The fifth layer is investing using tax-advantaged accounts like IRAs and HSAs. Finally, the top layer is investing through a taxable brokerage once all prior levels are in place. To make this memorable, here is a quick Markdown-style summary of the plan. First, freeze spending, negotiate bills, and boost income. Then, build a $1,000 buffer and pay off high-interest debt. Next, build an emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of expenses. After that, fund your IRA and HSA. Finally, direct any additional savings to a taxable brokerage. The accompanying mind map shows the same flow at a glance, including guardrails such as automation and quarterly reviews. Let's cement the key points. First, the core issue is cash flow rather than the absence of a 401k. Second, paying off high-interest debt is equivalent to a guaranteed return and, combined with budgeting, creates the margin necessary to invest. Third, IRAs, spousal IRAs, and HSAs provide robust, tax-advantaged alternatives. Fourth, a taxable brokerage allows unlimited investing after you use tax shelters. Finally, timing matters, so plan major life events with your finances in mind. To wrap up, here are your next 3 moves. Today, freeze discretionary spending, list every debt, and automate bill payments and a small transfer to build a $1,000 starter buffer. Over the next month, choose Avalanche or Snowball and attack the highest impact debts first. Over the next 90 days, open your IRA and HSA where eligible, automate contributions, and plan your move to a taxable brokerage once the prior steps are stable. Thank you for watching. If this was helpful, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for weekly, practical financial guidance. In the comments, share your 30-day plan and any questions you have so we can help you refine it.